TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Welcome to a brand new series that I'm going to be calling Strategy, Not Tragedy, where I take the strategies that me and my Twitch community built and I share them with the rest of the Rainbow Six community to help you guys win more games. Today we're going to be doing episode 1, which is a chalet attack strat for the basement. This is typically a round 2 attack strat after you've gotten a Cade and a zombie ban in. Let's get into the actual strat and all of the operators here. Like I said in the intro, the primary bans for this strat are going to be a round 1 Cade ban, and that's because we need to be able to take this hatch. This hatch is vital to the attack strategy. The second ban that just makes the strategy significantly easier and significantly less threatening for two of our operators that have to take control of the blue corridor is a zombie. That's going to be your normal operator to hold that area, so if we can clear her, it'll just make taking that area that much easier. The other thing that we need to go over before we start on the actual strategy is the operators we're bringing. So the first operator that we're going to be bringing is a Hibana. Our next operator is a Maverick, followed by Monty, Capiteo, and Raura. There are two reasons that we're bringing these operators. First and foremost being that all of these are just very strong operators. They make this attack significantly easier. The second thing is that we picked these operators because they're operators that typically aren't going to be banned going into your second round. So these should all be available to run this strat with, but make adjustments if you need to. For example, the Hibana can always be replaced by like an Ace. The Monty can always be replaced by a Blitz. The only really irreplaceable operators for this strat, because there's no other operators that do the same thing they do, is Raura and kind of Maverick, but we'll get into what those operators are specifically for in the strat. So to start the strat off, what we need to do is we need to get control of dining room. The way that you do this is going to be heavily dependent on the defense, so we need to make sure we're droning during the drone phase, not phone phase, remember. The most successful way we found is entering through trophy and then full clearing this whole area and establishing ourselves in the dining room. If you're seeing a heavier roam, it may be worth your time to clear the full upstairs and then go down trophy stairs through trophy and clear that way. Alternatively, you can go through the west main windows. We have not done that. I wouldn't recommend it just because you have to back through here and clear rather than just being able to clear straight through. But either way, however you guys decide to do it, make sure you get control of the dining room. That's the main objective. Once you've established control of the dining room, your two main Raura doors are going to be the kitchen door going into dining and the dining hall going into dining. That's because at some point Raura and Capiteo are going to be rotating out of here, and you want to make sure the Monty doesn't get overwhelmed by a late roam. Once you guys are all set up and locked in to this room, we need Monty to go ahead and take the hatch with his hard breach device. So speaking of the hard breach device, I do want to point out over here, there are two important operators that have secondary utility. Monty has the hard breach device. You have to have the hard breach device because this hatch almost always gets reinforced. The second one that you want is Capiteo. Capiteo uses a claymore late that could save his life and inevitably the attack strat, but we'll talk about that once we get to Capiteo. Once Monty has popped that hatch, Monty's only job is to sit up here and wait. While Monty waits, Raura and Capiteo are going to rotate through Dining Hall, down Gaming, and down Library Stairs to go meet up with Maverick and Hibana to start the actual push. So just to recap a little bit, the push is not started yet. We're just setting everything up and getting everyone in position to execute the plan. Nobody should be taking gunfights yet. Everyone should be either droning each other in or taking space in their respective areas. So from here, we're going to head downstairs, and we'll talk about Hibana and Maverick. Hibana's job for this strategy is to establish herself in the car garage, and, well, people typically call this big garage. The Hibana will start herself in big garage, and she's going to make breaches on this wall. to watch the storage room door. Um, if there is denial here, so a bandit, because we've already banned Cade, if there is denial here, Habana will obviously wait until Capiteo is established in blue hallway to get rid of the bandits so that she can make her angle. So at this point, Habana should really just be droning people in and getting information. The next person we want to talk about here is Maverick. Maverick's job seems insignificant, but it makes this strat very, very easy. His only job is to make walls or make holes on the boiler wall so that he can see the pillar and deny anybody from walking up here through wine towards this hatch, because we need Monty to be able to drop this hatch safely. Once again, once Maverick is established down here, he can drone people in, just try to take control of this area the best he can. It may be in your best interest to not immediately make the holes because it may give away the push. So if Maverick just comes down here and establishes himself and lays low, drones the other guys in, I think that's probably your best bet. So these two should already be in place by the time Rawura and Capiteo have started coming down the hallway. The reason you want Rawura and Capiteo both coming down here is because this is typically the only place where you're going to see a lot of denial, because it's directly adjacent to the site, and gives direct access to the site. You'll see here, this yellow explosion actually represents a firebolt, and then there's a smoke here as well. That's just to indicate that you want to deny this area long enough for Rawura and Capiteo to be able to walk down and seal this door. You'll see the door is sealed and there's a claymore on it. This was the claymore for Capiteo that I was talking about previously in the video that I said could be very important. If for whatever reason the Rawura dies, this claymore is going to deny this door for you still, stop them from being able to just swing you. Once we've established control over this blue hallway, our very next step is getting Capiteo down here on the door to fire off the pillar. I know that we already have the Maverick here, but we're firing off the pillar just in case somebody's been standing here the whole time and the Maverick never saw them and they're just sitting quietly. Because there are people in the game with that level of patience, and we want to be prepared for everything. So once everyone is in position, this is where the actual execution of the strat starts. Capiteo will firebolt this off. Habana, Maverick, and Capiteo will immediately all have their guns up, ready for anybody to walk out from behind this pillar or anybody to walk in through this door. As soon as this firebolt goes off, the Capiteo needs to communicate with this Monty and let him know to drop and immediately start the plant. It's important that Monty turtle plants facing the boiler wall, so facing kind of in this corner, maybe even a little bit more towards the actual boiler, because we don't want anybody to be able to roam down West Main super late and shoot him in the back through Habana's holes, and we don't want anybody insane to be able to sprint through here and C4 that Monty. That's the whole reason we bring Monty for the strat, is just because he can turtle plant. Once the plant has gone down, Monty actually needs to rotate out into the basement hallway and sit on the door right here and watch the West Main stairs. We're going to watch West Main stairs because the Maverick can be a little bit exposed from these head holes if the Habana doesn't see this person or dies. Anybody also swinging from this hallway can get Capiteo, so we need the Monty here for intel, to let the Habana know somebody's coming, to let Maverick know that somebody's coming, and let Capiteo know that somebody's potentially coming if these two die. Rawura will just remain back here watching this flank while the rest of these people just defend the bomb. This strat is not meant to get a lot of frags. It is meant to get the bomb down and win a round. We have gotten to run this strat twice in back-to-back rounds and have gotten it to work both times in high emerald, low diamond lobbies. So this strat is at least effective up to that point. And I know that most players have not reached that point yet. So I'm hoping that this strat reaches a lot of you and can help you win your matches. If you like this style of content and want to see more of it, please give me a follow on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, or wherever you've seen this video, because I don't know where I'm inevitably going to post it. If you want to help contribute to these strats, please give me a follow on my TikTok. We build these strats at least one day a week, It's either a weekend day or during the week when I have work a little bit later. We'll build them in the evening. And if there's anything with this video that you think could use some improvement, the layout of the video, my eye contact, the quality of the video, any advice is greatly appreciated. As I said, this is episode 1 of a new series, so I'm really getting used to this. And I believe that's everything. So thank you guys for watching, and everyone have a nice rest of your day.